my Facebook account up and I'm ready to check out what's going on since the last time I logged in. So if you recall, last time I didn't really have anything in my newsfeed. But now, because I followed some people and they've posted stuff since, I've got a whole bunch of stuff forming in my newsfeed. Isn't that great? But what if you want to secure your Facebook account? I mean, sure, for Google Plus or Pinterest or Twitter, it's great to have everything public. But what if you just want your friends to see your stuff? Well, I'm going to go over that kind of thing in this particular video. So as you can see up here, you have your standard you, find friends, home. Then you've got a couple of little things right here. So this one is a whole bunch of your privacy shortcuts. This covers most of the privacy settings that you'll ever need. So who can see my stuff? Click on it. And you can see right now that all my future posts are public. I can change that. I can set it to friends. I can set it to only me. I can set my whole account up so that if you want to be the only person to see whatever you put in there, that's all you can do. Or you can set custom. Let's click on custom and see what comes up. So, under custom, you can select friends of friends, which means if I'm friends with, say, George Takei, anybody that's friends with George Takei can then see all your things, all your stuff as well. Friends, again, if I'm friends with George Takei, only George Takei can see my stuff. Specific people in lists. So you can create lists of people in Facebook. In a second, I'll go over how to do that. So you can set up a family list. You can set up a really close friends list. And then when you make a post, you can set it so that only those lists can see what you want. Or again, you can select only me. Let's do friends for now. So this little box here means if you tag somebody in a photo, if you upload a photo of you and your best friend, and you click on that photo and click on her face or his face and give that person a name, that means that anyone who's tagged can also see. You can also create a don't share list. So if I didn't want, let's say my wife, say I didn't want her to see anything, I could add her to the don't share this with list. I'm right now just going to hit cancel and keep everything public. You can also review all your posts and what you've done in your activities log. This is places where you've liked things, where you've added photos, where you've commented on friends. It's a whole list of your activities. And again, you can click and change what people can see what. You can even choose to not show this stuff on your timeline. Let's go back to the security. Who can contact me? This is an important one. Right now, anybody that wants to can contact you on Facebook. They can send you a direct message, a private message through the messaging app. They can post on your wall. You can select some of their basic settings of mostly friends and people who may know you, or mostly just friends. You may miss messages from other people, or you can set it for friends of friends. So I prefer keeping it on basic filtering. And finally, how do I stop someone from bothering me? You can add a specific name or email address and block. That means that they can't see your stuff. You can't see their stuff. Conversations are gone. Only use that in extreme circumstances. And now we're going to click on See More Settings. So, under Privacy, you can limit the audience of past posts, meaning posts that you've done already. You can limit old posts, whatnot. And again, you have the who can look at me. That's fine. And here's the other one. Do you want other search engines to link to your timeline? Right now, the way that my account is set, if I go to Google, I can find whatever's on this particular timeline. Now, I have multiple accounts and a lot of stuff out on there on the web, so for me, it's perfectly fine. You may or may not want that. This is the one setting that I would suggest you go into and click off. It's going to ask you to confirm because it makes it easier. Well, it also makes it easier for bad guys to find you. So hit confirm. So now we've covered what's under the privacy. Let's go under timelines and tagging. And again, you have all the settings in the world. Who can add things to my timeline? Who can see things on my timeline? How can I manage tags and people added? So these are all important little things. We'll go over a few of them. Who can post on my timeline? Only friends. Review posts on timeline. Review posts friends tag you in before they appear on the timeline. If you're the kind of person who loves to go out drinking, go wild and crazy, you might want to turn this on. That means that things can't appear on your timeline until you've approved them. Same with review what other people see on your timeline. You can view it as a friend. So you can be like, oh, I'm Joe whatever, and this is what I see on their timeline, or on my own timeline. It's a nice feature to make sure your security settings are in check. Who can see other posts? Review tags people have added you in. So if somebody adds a picture of you, you can choose to set this so that you have to review the picture before they can add your face. That's a nice one. I'm going to enable that. When you're tagged in a post, who do you want to add to the audience? So with this one, friends can add posts. Or if you're tagged in a post, you can set it to only me. Who sees tag suggestions when photos that look like you are uploaded? Friends see tag suggestions. That means that Facebook will keep an eye out for photos that look like you, and they can tag you in it. Let's go under the next section of blocking. This is where you can add restricted lists, you can block certain apps, you can block events, block other apps. So if you're getting bombarded by a friend for Farmville, you can add Farmville to this list, and you'll stop getting notifications from them. Speaking of notifications, here we go. How do you get notifications? Play a sound when each notification is received. Fine. Email notifications. If you're somebody who's very, very popular, I would shut this off. As well as push notifications and text messages. Text messages are off. If you're the kind of person who wants to be notified all the time via text message, keep it on. But I'll warn you now, I had it on for a short time at one time, and I had a very, very full text inbox because of it. So these are things right here that you're notified about. So if somebody friends tags you in a post, if any activities that you're involved in, close friends activities, let's shut off email. Mobile, you can add a phone number. That'll allow you to receive text messages. Followers will always see your. Pardon me. Followers will only see your public posts and will not be added as friends. That means if you're a public figure, you can check this box. And it means that people can follow you. They can view what you post, what you let them view, but they're not counted as your friend. A lot of public figures turn this on because it allows them to be a public figure. For just the average person, you don't need to check that. For apps, these are different Facebook apps. So this is what can be viewed, what can be seen by the apps. When you're adding apps on Facebook, anytime that you add an app, it's going to pop up a box saying, this is what this app can do. Please read those very carefully. Sometimes they'll post on your behalf. Sometimes they'll access your friends lists. That's all stuff that is completely up to you whether you want to allow it or not. Here's another important thing. Ads. Third-party sites. Let's click on Edit. So right now, you can choose to only show your information to friends or to no one. I'm fine with friends. Ads and family. Everyone wants to know what their friends like. That's why we paired ads and friends. This particular one, I'll leave it completely up to you whether you should or shouldn't shut it off. I personally don't care about personalized ads, but if you're the kind of person that doesn't like to see this, you can shut off personalized ads. I will also tell you that it's not always that accurate, just as a word of caution. Payments. If you want to buy goods on Facebook using credits for games, you got to add a payment in. Gifts. Facebook now supports the ability to send gifts. Again, you need to add a payment. And your support dashboard. If you've sent in any requests or questions, they'll appear here. So let's go back up to the one that we skipped, security. Here is an important one. Security questions. That means if you forgot your password or something like that, they'll ask you questions. My suggestion is never actually put your information in there, your correct information. Come up with some random gobbledygook, come up with some answers that are false. So for instance, if you were born on Hummingbird Way, and it asks you, what street were you born on? Don't put in Hummingbird Way. Put in Fan Street. But don't put your actual information. It's how a bunch of people have gotten hacked in the past, and people are still getting hacked now. Because they'll just go and find which street you were born on, which is in public archives, and they'll put that in. Secure browsing. You want to keep this on. It means that whenever you go to a coffee shop, if you're on an unsecure connection, you're still secured. So always keep that on. Login notifications. This sends a message to you anytime that you've logged in someplace. Choose whether you keep that on or off. If you keep it on, that means that if a bad guy logs in from China, you'll get a notification saying somebody logged in from China. Login approval. This is also known as two-factor authentication. I find it to be a pain in the butt, but if you are an extremely security conscious person, turn this on. It means that a code will be required to log into Facebook from a browser that you haven't before. That code can be generated off the Facebook app on phones. It's a strong security function. You can create a separate app password. I'm not going to worry about that. Device recognition and active session. This means this is where I'm currently local from. So that right now is all the security functions that you're going to need to know about. Now I know I went over a lot, and you can always go back and review this video to check out those security functions. This week's homework is simple. Go through, check out your security function or your security settings, set them to how you like. Play with them a bit. You might find at one point in your life you want it one way, and come a couple years down the road, you want it set a different way. I'm going to provide a link to an article about Facebook safety on the web. So take a look at that at your leisure. And I hope that this has been helpful. Security is something that's very important in this day and age. There are hackers everywhere that can access your information if you don't keep it secure. And it's not all about passwords anymore. So please, go through your settings, set them the way that you want, depending on how secure, and always remember that at some point or another, something that you didn't want to go public is going to go public. So if you don't want it online, don't put it online. Have a great evening.